Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of Flow and Christmas.
And Christmas Flow.
I'm here with the big guy as usual. I ain't talking about Santa, although that would be cool.
It would.
Right? I'm talking about Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Which is the opposite of cool? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, no, I'm saying like, sorry guys, I had you set up. You're like,
I think
Santa? I know him.
I think I'm the one that got set up and all that, man.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. Sorry. How you doing, man?
You smell like elderberries. You sitting on your throne of lies. Yeah, Elf, if you haven't seen it, guys, that's what we're talking about.
Turn us off right now and go watch
Elf. That's the only time all year you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Matt, we got a good podcast today.
I think so.
We got a great podcast every single time. I know that, but I'm pumped about this one. Right, you coach a lot of people.
Yep.
Right, our listeners know that agents aren't looking for a boss; they're looking for a coach. And so we're going to talk, a little bit about, how they coach and a few parts of their coaching. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to touch on that because so what happens? People should be planning all year long, and reviewing plan all year long. But right now, people are doing a lot more of it.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that a lot of people are I think some brokers might be paying attention to this, might not be. A lot of people might be worried about it. At the beginning of the year, there's a lot of times when the agent's business is slowed down. That's why we do the retention challenge when we do it. Agent business is slowed down a little bit, and the brokers are almost worried about that conversation of the person coming in and saying, "What have you done for me lately?" Right?
Yeah.
So putting more money in their pocket is not just about their commission split. We talked about that in the Master Recruiting Series, all that kind of stuff. It's not just about the commission split. It's also about how it is that you help them get better at their business.
Yep.
If you can help them get better at it, which is what coaching should be doing, if you help them get better at it, and they hear other people say that they're going to help, but the other people can't prove it as well as you've proven it to them, if they leave, they're having something taken away from them. The other thing that if you're working with somebody on coaching, it actually helps you make sure that you're connected with them in a way so that you see where their mind is about their business. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know we're just in the first part of the introductory. I can tell by the look in your face. We're just in the introductory right now of what we're doing, and then you're going to tell everybody how to be connected.
Matt's trying to do the whole podcast in the introduction. I get it, man. As many of Ben's parts as I can get out of here, the better. Right? Come on, man. Let me just tell the people, wherever they're listening to this, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. There's absolutely no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. See, he's trying to even take my part. Here, I'm going to be like, listen, guys, here's all about coaching. Right? I don't know anything about coaching. X's and O's, baby. Block and tackle.
That's right.
But guys, make sure that you go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. We have a newsletter that goes out weekly that's just full of, some funny stuff. I always try and put some YouTube videos in there that are kind of funny and real estate related, but also some really cool, news that you need to know about real estate that you can share with your agents in your office, but also some of the recruits that you're talking to. Because, again, we don't want to just keep calling saying, you want to have a cup of coffee? Sometimes it's just awesome to say, hey, I read this the other day. And I just wanted to share it, with you. We've been talking for a while, and I thought maybe this might be interesting to you as well. If it's not, no big deal.
Yep.
Guess what? I don't like coffee either.
Right.
Right. So, guys, go and do that. But Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
We're talking about the parts of their coaching. We got I don't know the number, but we've got 4 or 5 things that I know that we're gonna talk about. And you just kind of hinted at one, looking at numbers and that kind of thing, and that really goes into their goals and their systems and their plans and all that kind of stuff. So let's dive into that one.
Yeah. So when you're starting your coaching with them, and if you've helped them do their planning, and what you're trying to help them do is accomplish and hit certain goals, you want to make sure you're smiling, Ben. What are you smiling?
No,
about?
I'm just having a good time, man.
Okay. I thought there was something dangerous about to happen
No,
out there in podcast.
Tammy's in the house, so whenever I say something funny, there's like a laugh. Usually there's silence.
I laugh.
Yeah, man. But all my jokes are usually about you.
Yeah, good point. I can't encourage them any further, right? We need to have a laugh track that we just hit the button on and it laughs. Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm working on it.
Okay, gotcha. So the numbers, right?
Yeah.
You want to lead off with their numbers. If you help them get to the bottom of that, you want to lead off with where they are with that. That doesn't have to be a long, protracted, hit them over the head type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Take their personality into account on this. Okay, so
Yeah.
absolutely you want to review their numbers. Absolutely you want to hold them accountable. Absolutely you have to be careful about how you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so take their personality into account with that. You also want to touch on their goals. If you see them doing things that are getting them closer to their goals, you want to make sure that you're bringing that up. As their manager, as their coach, as the person that's working side by side with them, as the person that's supposed to be helping guide them, have an idea of what their numbers are. Look at those and say, okay, so tell me, exactly what you did this week, and it looks like you really hit it with this number, hit it with that number. You did good. And how's the person that the listing agreement the listing appointment that you went on last week? Did you get the listing agreement for it? All that kind of stuff. Have an idea of how all of that's going. So know the numbers, but also know what's supporting those numbers and understand their personality enough to bring those up the right way.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As usual. We know that when it comes to like planning and coaching, it really, it's really easy for the first thing to come to everyone's mind about like systems and goals and planning and all that kind of stuff. That's why we started with that one first. Right. But a lot of times I think, brokers forget or maybe take for granted that just like, the agents that I have, they're just going to be like here forever. And, why would they ever leave me? I'm perfect. Right. We did a podcast about checking that ego, guys. Yep. watch the one before this one.
Right.
It's important to know how agents are connected to your brokerage, and also to know why, right? Because you want to say, okay, well, this agent, right? Keep track, right? In your coaching notes, right? You want to know, like, okay, they really like me for this reason, or they like being here for this reason. How can I offer more of that to them, and probably other agents, who feel the same way, or the flip side.
Right.
They really don't like this about the brokerage. How can I change that like yesterday?
Right. Yeah, it gives you a pulse of what's going on with your with the people in your office, right? So we've talked about this before, right? We've mentioned that you need to make sure that you're offering the things that support how your office is doing business.
Yep.
Okay? So if you're just getting started on leaning into, hey, what's going on with my office, you need to start in a different place than you're finishing. Okay? Here let me tell you what I mean by that. If you walk into a sales meeting and go, okay, guys, I'm going to be doing some coaching, I'm going to be doing some training, and if you're not using this CRM that we offer at this company, right, I'm not helping you out with anything. You're just in the cold. You have to use this CRM, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's a problem. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, let's say that instead of doing that your sales meeting, the first sales meeting of January 2022, you walk in and you go, "Hey guys, I'm going to do some training. It doesn't matter what CRM you're on. I'm going to do some training and I'm going to help you get really effective with what you're doing with your CRM." And then as you go through these conversations over the next 10 months or 12 months, you're helping convert them to a more centralized place that makes it easier for you and your business, right?
Yeah.
So now you can say in January 2023, hey guys, we did a lot of coaching and a lot of training over the last year. What we noticed was that if the company can help you do this, we can do that. You're going to be more effective. Some of you guys already transitioned. How'd you like the transition to the CRM that we use as a company? So this is what I'm going to do. Going forward now the training and the support and everything is really going to be focused around that CRM because collectively we know that that's the one that's working best for everyone. At that point, you're doing the same exact thing. Yes, you're having to push it back a year. But if you're not connected and you don't know what's going on with them and you walk in the front door and sling the door open and go, hey, you're not doing this the right way. This isn't going to happen. This is what you need to do. Do it my way or else. They'll take or else.
Oh, yeah.
And you might be surprised who takes or else.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised by that loss of production while you're trying to get something good in place. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And it helps you just get that buy-in as well.
Right. And so tools and systems, right, are a way that you measure buy-in, like you were just saying. Mm-hmm. What training classes are they attending, right? We've talked about before, experienced agent versus new agent training, all that kind of stuff. We need to make sure that we have all that. We need to make sure we have all that figured out. Are they attending your social things that you're doing, right? Are they using your yard signs? Are they using your transaction coordinator? Are they using your whatever, right?
Yeah.
How much of what it is that you offer are they using? Yeah. Has that shifted? Did they used to, and now they're using less of it? That would be somebody that I'd really try to get in coaching. Not to convert them quickly back to using all my stuff, but to see what it is that they're doing to make sure you're connected with it, to see if you need to get other people in your office doing that because we want them more productive, or whether they're actually staging them leaving. Right.
Yep.
So you need to get an idea about all that.
Yep, absolutely. So, and you touched a little bit on what we're going to be talking about next, and that's actually having a training plan.
Right, absolutely. So you as a broker should have a training plan.
Yep.
Right. So you should say, here's the things I'm going to offer over the next 12 months. This is one of the things that I think that and we'll talk about virtual versus live in just a minute when it comes to the coaching. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. But it's important and relevant in training also. A lot of your training, in my opinion, should be done by Zoom now, right? Not because everyone is, not because of everyone needing to not be in the office, because being part of the office and connected and still having a human connection with people is important, of course. A big part of the reason why is because if you do a great training, save it. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be able to share it later. Make a library. Put it on YouTube, right? Yep. So that you can send people back to that later. That's gonna make a big difference. Now you can do that either by doing virtual training, or you can set cameras up while you're doing live training.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You know, all of our favorite shows from the '90s, you know, had that laugh track like that you were talking about, and it was like, this is filmed in front of a live studio audience,
right?
That doesn't know how to laugh,
right?
right. So we had it for them. That's a great way, right? Just set that camera up, record it, do your live training. There are ways. It's part of the way that we do our masterminds. It's like a little $50 to $100 little piece of equipment that you can buy that connects a camcorder to your computer and actually lets you use that as your Zoom camera.
Yep.
And you can have your agents in house right there with you because you're probably going to be in the office, but you can also have the agents who maybe aren't ready to come back into the office, we'll say, and they can be there live with whatever, and then you just have your assistant or your one of your staff members like man a chat or something like that, and they can fill the questions as they come in as well. But again, yes, it allows you to record it. If you do it that way, it does make your recordings kind of look a little bit more like, hey, this wasn't just done in Zoom, so it looks a little bit better quality. But if that's something you're like, hey, I want to know what that is, send us an email, support@prospectboomerang.com, and I'll get you a list of what 2 little things that you need to make that happen.
Yeah, perfect. So as far as the training plan, also make sure that whenever I say a training plan, it means one that you as a company are offering, but also what is their individual training plan. Yep. Right. So their individual training plan is when you sit down with them, don't say, hey, here's my training schedule. I want to see you at all of these. Right.
Right.
You would have your training plan, and maybe you don't show them for the entire year. Maybe you show them 3 months at a time, but you sit it down and go, hey, here's the classes I have coming up. Are there any other classes that you really think would be a good class or that would help you out? Because either we can do some one-on-one training with it, or I can see if enough people in the office are interested in doing it. And what I'll do is I'll bring that training in. Right.
Yeah.
Another huge thing about training, whenever I'm talking to people about doing this, recording is one of them. The second one is you don't have to do all the training yourself. You can host it, you can proctor it, you can facilitate it. Yeah. Okay. Some of it should be agents in your office. They should be helping out, right?
Yeah.
Pick the right agents and pick and frame the outline. Have an idea of what they're going to do. Don't just say Ben's teaching a class at 2:00 on Thursday, and then you show up at 1:59 and go, so Ben, what are you talking about today? Right? That can be a problem. Okay, and so your stamp, your label, your brand is on it, but just have other people help you out with it. The other thing that does is that gets buy-in. Right? There's some reciprocation. Right? They don't want to sit there and teach a class and nobody show up. So the flip side is true. They're gonna support other people, right? And they're gonna want to be supported. And so the next thing you know, you just have more people showing up and attending the classes the way that you need. But you also are going to see what it is that they're trying to accomplish with their business when you ask this, right? Yeah. So you're gonna say things like, okay, so what kind of training do you have coming up? And they're gonna say, oh, well, as an example, I'm actually going to a Boomtown training next week. Well, why are you going to a Boomtown training next week? Because I'm thinking about taking on more leads. Well, how come you're taking on more leads? Well, I was thinking about adding a team member. Okay. Well, so now our coaching should be focused around teams, which we'll talk about in just a second. Mm-hmm. Our coaching will be more focused around teams. If you're not asking them about what training they're doing and why they're doing it and going 3 deep, which we've got a great podcast on going 3 deep, make sure you listen to that one. Yep. Go 3 deep and actually listen to it and figure out what it is that they're trying to accomplish with that. As soon as they open up with you on that, and they see that you're willing to help on that, they're going to be more excited about coming to that next session, which is a big part of the issue, right? If there's too much accountability, not enough support, they don't want to show up for that.
Yeah.
Right? They have accountability of transactions. They have accountability of,
Absolutely.
they're running their business. They have accountability of their family and their personal life and all these other things. The last thing that they need is a heavy weight that doesn't seem like it has any other benefit to it. So your coaching can't just be accountability. It also has to be support. Right.
Yep.
It's got to be that emotional compensation, which we talked about in the retention challenge.
Yep. And that leads us to our very last point that we're going to make. Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
Yep.
And that's actually, finding out, while you're going through all these different parts, how you can actually help them. And always remember that you don't always have all the answers.
Right.
And it's okay to not have all the answers.
Right.
If you're willing to say, look, I'm going to help you find the answers.
Right, absolutely. And how you help is such a big one. And notice that one's last, right? Yeah. So don't sit down and say, hey, so my coaching sessions, as an example, I tell people at the beginning of them, right? So all of mine are laid out for the year, right?
Yeah.
And I know where people are at with where they are and everything. So when we sit down, I know what my scheduled topic is for that day. Okay, I know what it is that we're going to work on. I know where they are with their business and how it relates to that. I get, it's updated on my calendar. I get it first thing in the morning. I can review that before I actually sit down with people and talk to them. But that's because I'm coaching all day, every day, right?
Right.
So how you can help, a big part of this is understanding how to listen through the first part of what you hear with everything that they're saying, and making sure that you're tuning in your support to that. So what I was saying just a second ago is I have it all laid out. But I tell people in the beginning of the call, 9 times out of 10, and I tell them on a very regular basis, hey, here's what I have planned for today, or we can review what I've got planned for today. But are there specific things that you want to go over that we can work into this? And a lot of the times there are. They're like, hey, I really need to go over this, and I really need to go over that. Some of that we can go over that quick, right? It's just done, right?
Yep.
It's just finished. And other times that'll take, a big portion of the call, because that is what they're actually running into right then. Me as the coach knows whether or not that's detracting from their overall plan.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to get them from point A to point B. And so if every time we get on the call, they're like, yeah, I really need to go over this and this and this, and it's getting us all over the place, then I have to spend less time on those and more time on the big picture plan of what we're trying to accomplish. Me as the coach, that's my job to pay attention to that.
Yep.
Now I can apply what it is that they said they needed to their situation, because I've heard through that call what it is that they said they've needed.
Yep. It's personalized.
That's exactly right. And so now it's you taking what you offer and applying it to what's truly their issue, instead of just saying, hey, you might have an issue, here's a solution. And they're like, that's not my issue.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it says here on my schedule that it is.
Right, that's right. My schedule says you should be told about this.
My schedule says time for a haircut, Betty.
Yep. And then on top of that, when you come in next week or next whenever, I'm going to say, Betty, you didn't get that haircut.
Yeah.
How come you didn't get that haircut?
Yeah. People don't tease anymore.
Right. So that way it keeps us on track with making sure that they are doing what they're supposed to, based on what they're trying to accomplish with their business.
Yep. Exactly.
Right? So
yeah, perfect. So I'm going to summarize this a little bit, right? You tell me like if I miss anything, I shouldn't miss it because there's notes.
Right.
Right. But I might.
Right. Just in case.
But we want to talk, we want to add these parts of your coaching if they're not already there. And if they are already there, guys,
way to go.
Way to go. Like, this probably isn't your first time listening.
Right.
First time caller. But know their goals, their plans, their systems. Of course, we want to track those numbers. We want to know exactly, what it is that, why they're connected to your brokerage, how they're connected to your brokerage. Also, what you want to go over not only your training plan and what's to come, and use that to get buy-in on some of the things that you want to implement in the upcoming future, but also know what types of training are they going to be part of outside of your office. Like Boomtown, that was a great example. I would also recommend personally that if you have things like Boomtown or like a dot loop, and they always have these different things going on. Gosh, like it's so easy for you to say, we're going to have a watch party.
Yep.
Right, get everybody together and,
Yep.
and sit there and watch that training together. You know, if you have the means inside of your office, and then lastly, just make sure that you are always focused around, you know, how you can help them with the specific problems that they have. Because again, like nobody wants to go, you know, to a coach who's just telling someone the same thing over and over and over, no matter what,
and throwing up in their face what they didn't get done.
Yeah, exactly. So. Did I do all right there?
Yeah, very good summary.
Man,
so
absolutely crushed that. That's sick.
So we promised we would talk about one more thing, which is live versus virtual.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So of course I'm a fan, right? I can't fly across the nation and sit down with everybody, and
Right.
So I'm a fan of the virtual, right? I really think the virtual is a good idea, and the main reason why is because it allows you to record it and share that recording.
Yep.
So if you have people that you're working with and you're really focusing on your retention, you might want to look at like a Zoom account or something like that. Google Meeting, right? You can use, and you might want to look at those and see if there's some way you can get plugged into that so that you have some ability of being able to record.
Yeah.
Okay. You can do it live. Okay. Not everybody's going to want to do it live. You're going to have less cancellations if you do it by Zoom than if you do it live.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what happens is, let's say that your appointment is at 1:00 and they have an appraisal at 10:00 or 10:30. 10:30, the appraiser doesn't show up. They show up at 5 till 11. The appraiser starts asking questions, makes it sound like you're not going to be able to get the appraised number that you need. So you're standing there talking to them. The next thing you know, it's 12:10. You get a phone call from somebody else about a contract. In between all of that, they're going to go, man, I don't have time for a coaching call.
Yeah, I can't do that right
Things
now.
are on fire, right? Yeah. So, but the only time they have to prep for coaching, if it's virtual, if they've got the Google Meeting or Zoom or whatever it is, I mean, they can at 12:58.
Yeah.
They can go ahead and sit down somewhere and do that. You're
Yeah.
going to have a lot more people show up for that if that's the case.
Yeah.
Now, I would say on a regular basis, it needs to be live, okay, because they're your agents. You want them, in the office connected and all that kind of stuff. Make up whatever that schedule is. And what I would suggest is that you don't say, okay, the first meeting of the quarter, we're going to meet live, right? Because if that doesn't happen, it's going to throw off the whole quarter.
Yeah.
So what I would say instead is I would say one meeting every quarter, we're going to have to do live.
Yeah.
Could be the first one, can be whatever, can be the last one, whatever it is. Let's figure that out. Walk through that with them and get figured out what that is. And then of course the other benefit of course is it allows you to record them like we talked about.
Yep. Absolutely. I love it. Well, guys, we got the action item coming up here in just a second, but you know the routine. Wherever you're watching this, whether it be or listening to this, I guess it would be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure to hit that follow button. If you are watching this, then you're on YouTube. Hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside of it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. Guys, go to Prospect Boomerang. Check out, all the different things that Matt and I have to help your brokerage, grow and scale to exactly whatever your goals are set for 2022. If you're listening to this in 2023, I meant 2024. But regardless, everything that we talked about is still pertinent then as well.
Yep.
But we talked a lot about sales meetings and kind of training today.
Yep.
Just wanted to plug the Brokerpreneur Fast Track just a little bit because we can help you plan out your entire year of sales meetings and those types of things.
Trainings.
Trainings within that. So go and check that out. If you're on prospectboomerang.com, Tammy just dropped her phone. Make sure that you hit that button at the top that says services overview, and you see all the different things that we have there, and they all include that that sales meeting training, that kind of stuff too. So Matt.
Yeah, man.
Hit us up with an action item, man. I need some action in my life.
I gotcha. So here's what we would need to do if we're earlier I mentioned teams, right? And I promised we would get to that. So here's what we need to do if you're working with, or if you have a lot of teams in your office, or if you want to attract them. Okay. So you should have a meeting that's separate with your team leaders than with the team members. Okay. More often you're going to meet with your team leader than your team members.
Yeah.
Team members need training.
Yeah.
And team members need their team leader to work them through certain things. Okay. So the team leader might come to you and say, hey, really, I need you to coach my agents. If they say that, be careful. That's almost a trap.
Yeah.
Okay. What they probably mean is, I need you to train my agents.
Yeah.
Okay. They're the ones that need to coach them. Okay.
Yeah.
So training can be, fundamental, right? Training can be across the board. It can be focused. And then they, as the coach, can come in and say, okay, let's do this a little bit different. Let's change this, or let's shift this. Right.
Yep.
Right. So the issue you have with that is, now the team leader's like, well, crap, I don't have time for that. Right.
Yeah.
So here's how you handle that. So you have a meeting that is, let's say, a 45-minute meeting, and the first 15 minutes of it are with the team leader.
Yep.
The last 30 minutes of it are with the rest of the team. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
And normally your meetings should be between 20 and 30 minutes. There's a hard start, hard stop on it.
Yeah.
Okay. 20 minutes is probably the ideal amount of time that you want to spend with somebody. Not because, you're scheduling your day and all that kind of stuff. They just don't absorb.
Yes,
at
the
a high
attention.
rate.
Yeah, it's the attention span.
It's hard. Right.
Yeah.
And that'll also, it's a lot easier if you say, hey, we're going to do a coaching session. Come on in. We'll spend as much time as you need. Man, you're going to have 28 conversations about 36 different things. Nobody's going to remember shit. Right.
Yep,
it's just not going to
absolutely.
happen. So instead, what you have to do is you have to say, okay, that our meetings are only 20 minutes. So we're going to hit on these things. And then at the end, we'll wrap up and we'll see if there's anything else outstanding that we can do. And then we'll see exactly how I can help with some of the specific things you need help with.
Yeah.
So we also did podcasts on coaching versus consulting. If people are not positive, they need to go back and listen to the two of those, because they're different things.
Yep.
Okay. So with your team leaders should be recorded so that they can go back and share it.
Yep.
Should be recorded probably in 2 sections. If you have the capability of doing that, if you're comfortable with the technology doing that, then it should be recorded in 2 sessions. Your first part of the conversation is with the team leader. Hey, this is what's going on. Betty Sue is, great. Jimmy Joe is a problem. We need to get more leads by doing this. I need my people to do that. You say, wonderful, ready, break. And then the other team members come into the situation, whether it's physically into the room or physically into the Zoom room. They come in and you go, okay, guys, here's what we're going to talk about. You go through their numbers, you put them in that situation, and you help coach them to the place where that team leader needed you to help coach them.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, you're going to retain that team.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're coming in telling their team members how they should be doing business, and it's different than your team leader is, you're going to lose that entire team.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, they got their way to do it, and they don't want it messed with.
That's right. They want it improved.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But they don't want you undermining something, especially if they don't understand why you're doing it. So you're not
then they get
individual.
pushed back. Well, so-and-so said.
That's right. And the team member is going to hide in the middle of everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
But mom said this and dad said that, so I didn't do
Yeah.
anything, right?
Yeah.
You just got to get rid of all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, guys. Well, Matt,
Yeah, Ben.
that was an intense action item. I'm not gonna lie.
Intense.
That was, you guys, you go do that one, right?
Yep.
That was a good one. If you don't have teams, go get a team.
Yep. So also, if you don't have a coaching form, I've got a 1-page coaching form
Yep.
that it's front and back. Okay. Absolutely awesome. It's laid out incredible. If you want it, and it's the one I'm talking about is set up for agents.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it, absolutely just matt@prospectboomerang.com. I'm happy to send it to you.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome, guys. Well, Matt, we love doing these podcasts.
Yep.
Right? I know that, you love our team because I'm on it.
Right.
But we do these podcasts not only just because...
we need that laugh track, Ben. That was a joke, right?
Was that a good one?
I don't know. I think we just
usually
hit the laugh track.
Usually when I say, the word love, it's a joke. I'm joking.
And when you say the word joke, are you loving it?
Yeah, I am, man. That's why I'm laughing. I'm one of those guys that laugh at my own jokes because they're hilarious.
All right.
But, I also laugh at my jokes for the same reason that we do this podcast,
Right.
Matt.
And what's that, Ben? You see how I
Because
flipped it?
yeah, I can do that. Because guys, I specifically, we generally want to be part of your win.
Thanks,
See you guys.
See ya.